In the silence of a cold, empty room, there's a ghost that haunts every move you make, a shadow that isn't yours, yet it dictates the rhythm of your pulse. It is the invisible architect of your misery, the silent judge sitting in the back of your mind, whispering that you are falling behind while the world accelerates into chaos. Look at your hands. They are trembling not because of the cold, but because of the crushing weight of 1,000 expectations you never signed up for. We live in an era of digital panopticons, where every soul is both the prisoner and the guard, watching others flourish in a simulated reality while our own internal world crumbles into dust. But while the masses drown in the liquid anxiety of the modern age, there is a silent elite, a shadow class of thinkers who are not just surviving this collapse, they are winning because of it. To understand how they remain unshakable while you feel like you are shattering, we must first peel back the skin of reality and look at the raw, dark nerves of the human psyche. The world you think you see is a hallucination, a collective dream constructed by the masters of influence to keep you in a state of perpetual hunger. They want you terrified of the headlines, obsessed with the fluctuating numbers on a screen, and desperate for the approval of strangers who do not exist. This is the ultimate psychological trap, the externalization of the self. By the time you realize that your happiness has been outsourced to a world that doesn't care if you live or die, it is usually too late. However, there is a bridge made of ancient stone that spans this abyss of modern despair, a philosophy often misunderstood as mere indifference, but which is actually the most potent weapon in the arsenal of dark psychology. It is the art of the Stoic, the one who watches the city burn and sees only the movement of molecules. This is not about being a robot, it is about becoming the only thing in the universe that cannot be broken. As we descend deeper into the mechanics of this mental fortress, you will begin to notice a pattern in your own failures, a specific psychological blind spot that has been exploited since the day you were born. Most people spend their lives trying to control the wind, screaming at the clouds to stop the rain, unaware that the only thing they truly possess is the vessel they sail in. The Stoic understands that power is not found in changing the world, but in the absolute mastery of the internal reaction. Think of your mind as a high-stakes poker game where everyone is bluffing. The world bets your peace of mind, your health, and your sanity. Most people fold the moment the stakes get high, but the one who knows the secret of the internal citadel doesn't even look at the cards because they have already decided that the outcome of the game is irrelevant to their worth. This realization is the first step toward a level of influence that most would call predatory, yet it is the only way to remain whole when everything else is falling apart. But why does it feel like you are losing? Why does the collapse feel so personal? It is because you have been conditioned to believe that you are a part of the machine rather than the operator. There is a dark comfort in victimhood, a psychological sedative that tells you it's okay to be weak because the world is hard. But the elite do not seek comfort, they seek friction. They know that a diamond is only a piece of coal that handled stress exceptionally well. As the structures of society begin to fracture, as the economy fluctuates, as social fabrics tear, and as the digital noise becomes a deafening roar, the Stoic finds a strange predatory joy in the chaos. While others see a crisis, they see a clearing. They are waiting for the moment when the noise becomes so loud that everyone else stops thinking, because that is when the silent man becomes the king. You might be wondering if there is a final limit to this endurance, a point where even the strongest mind must snap. There is, in fact, a hidden psychological threshold that, once crossed, renders a human being virtually invincible to external trauma, a terminal state of consciousness that we will dissect before the end of this journey. For now, consider the concept of amor fati, the love of fate. It is not enough to merely tolerate the collapse, you must crave it. You must look at the tragedy, the loss, and the pain, and say, "Give me more." This is the ultimate subversion of the human survival instinct. By loving the very thing that is meant to destroy you, you remove its power entirely. You become a black hole that consumes light and dark alike, growing denser and more powerful with every disaster. In the shadows of history, the most influential figures were not the ones who shouted the loudest, but the ones who could sit in a room full of chaos and feel nothing but the steady beat of their own hearts.
They practiced a form of dark detachment that allowed them to move pieces on the chessboard of life without the interference of empathy or fear. When you stop caring about what happens, you paradoxically gain the power to make anything happen. This is the ultimate dark side of Stoicism that the textbooks won't tell you. It is the ultimate tool of social and psychological dominance. When you cannot be hurt, you cannot be controlled. And when you cannot be controlled, you become the one who holds the leash. The collapse of the world is not a tragedy, it is a filter. It is designed to weed out those who are dependent on the external, those who need the validation of the hive mind to feel alive. Every headline that scares you, every notification that spikes your cortisol is a test of your mental sovereignty. If you react, you lose. If you engage, you are consumed. The winner is the one who watches the screen and sees only pixels, who hears the screams and hears only sound. This level of detachment is often misunderstood as coldness, but in reality, it is the highest form of heat, a fire that has burned away everything that was unnecessary, leaving only the indestructible core. There is a final secret, a truth so sharp it cuts through the very fabric of your identity, which we are approaching with every passing second. Before we reach it, you must understand the premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. The Stoic spends their mornings visualizing the death of their loved ones, the loss of their wealth, and the ruin of their reputation. They do this not because they are morbid, but because they are strategically removing the element of surprise from the universe. If you have already lost everything in your mind, the world can take nothing from you. You are playing a game where you have already surrendered, making you the most dangerous person at the table. Look around you. The collapse is accelerating. The systems you trusted are being revealed as hollow shells. The people you looked up to are trembling. In this environment, the one who is calm is the one who is feared. The one who does not need is the one who is followed. This is why the Stoics are winning. They are the only ones who aren't trying to hold on to a falling building. They are the ones who walked out before the ceiling cracked and now are watching from the hills as the dust settles, ready to build something new on the ruins of your illusions. The ultimate truth, the secret that bridges the gap between the slave and the master, is that the world is actually not collapsing. It is merely resetting to its natural state of chaos. The order you thought existed was the real hallucination. You were never safe, you were never in control, and you were never meant to be comfortable. The winners are those who realized this a long time ago and stopped pretending. They stopped waiting for the world to get better and started getting better than the world. They accepted that the only thing they will ever truly own is the space between their ears, and they turned that space into a fortress that no army can breach. As the noise fades and the screen goes dark, you are left with a choice. You can go back to the dream, back to the anxiety, back to the desperate struggle for a world that is already gone. Or you can embrace the collapse, find the silence within the storm, and join the ranks of those who see the end of the world as the beginning of their true power. The secret is that the world is actually not collapsing. It is merely resetting to its natural state of chaos. The order you thought existed was the real hallucination. You were never safe, you were never in control, and you were never meant to be comfortable. The winners are those who realized this a long time ago and stopped pretending. They stopped waiting for the world to get better and started getting better than the world. They accepted that the only thing they will ever truly own is the space between their ears, and they turned that space into a fortress that no army can breach. Remember this, the world is collapsing, and that's exactly why the Stoics are winning. They have found the center of the hurricane, where the air is still and the pressure is gone. They know that in the silence of a cold, empty room, there is a ghost that haunts every move you make, a shadow that isn't yours, yet it dictates the rhythm of your pulse.